There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Ooh, what's up and welcome into episode number 44 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Patrick Kurtzberger, no Matt Gad this week. Today is Wednesday, November 9th. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can find us there, Program Guys Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, that's where you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Guys, we're trying to get to 1,200 subs on our YouTube channel. Help us out by getting there. If you're watching this video right now on YouTube, there's a highly big chance. God, that was a bad way.
Highly big.
Yeah,
like
hugely big chance that you're not subscribed to the channel right now. Just do us a favor. It's free, costs you no money. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton, more than you could know. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Boys, how we doing? Big week for the Sooners this week, taking on West Virginia. But it's Tuesday night, and we're recording.
It feels like this week it's Tuesday, but it feels so long already.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I don't know how it's only been 2 days in the week. So that's kind of how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Patrick?
I was in a pretty good mood, but now I just remembered we had to talk about a couple things I don't want to talk about.
That's fair.
But here we are.
Okay. Mark?
We need more time between these podcasts, man. All I got is the same stuff from Sunday and some thoughts.
And some thoughts.
You know.
Okay. So with that's what we call a tease in the podcast biz. So let's go ahead and get us started. The big news before we get to the game this week, Colton Vasek, who was previously committed to the Oklahoma Sooners in the 2023 class. A big piece to that 2023 class, a defensive end out of the Austin area in Texas. Westlake, thank you. Couldn't remember which lake it was. He decides that he no longer wants to go to OU, flipped his commitment today to the University of Texas, which was pretty much everyone kind of got the feeling after he took that visit to Austin.
We sure tried to talk ourselves out of it, didn't we?
I know, we did.
We really did.
Well, some more than others.
Yeah.
I was pretty heated about it. I mean, you guys remember. I wanted Brent to rescind the offer right then and there. And then there were some other folks on this podcast, co-hosts, all of you, to say, what else is he supposed to do? He lives in Austin. It's not a big deal. Let's see how this plays out. No, it was a big deal. And if Brent rescinded the offer in that moment, he would have looked awesome right now.
I don't know if I said that it wasn't a big deal, but again, you're right. I did say, what are you supposed to do? Because literally, what are you going to do?
Only one of us was latched onto by Texas Twitter and added in many tweets with Colton Vasek. So I'm not sure that Patrick's take really was like the productive one in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Texas Twitter got you to delete your tweet, Pat.
Yeah, that's true.
Savage.
I just want to hear. I mean, now that we're talking about this, we have one really terrible Colton Vasek quote.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
I want to see like longer form interviews with him. See if we get Patrick name dropped.
That'd be nice.
Wouldn't it be great, man? He was like,
I'd like it.
I found this podcast.
Yeah,
guys.
And that's what made my decision. This one
tweet from an OU guy said I should decommit, so I did it.
Yeah. Okay. This is a quote from Colton Vasek, courtesy of Hayes Fawcett of On 3. I think he is On 3. I can't remember. He said, quote, "I've grown up a UT fan my entire life. When I went to go see the OU Texas game, as an OU recruit, it just really didn't feel right to me at all. Deep down, I wanted to be playing for the team wearing burnt orange." End quote. Okay, then why'd you commit? So we've talked about Brent's commitment policy before. This is why he has it. This is what a commitment means. You're not committed. And I'm not knocking the kid. He's 17, 18 years old. You don't know what you want to do. That's fine. You're going to flip and do that. But why commit? And then 2 months later, you're like, nah, never mind. You weren't really committed then, in my eyes. You weren't. because that's not what a commitment is.
Yeah, I mean, if he grew up a Texas fan. His dad, I believe, played for Texas, right? Like all of these things were going Texas's way in the first place. This is not the first OU Texas game he has been to. Like, no. I guarantee you, maybe this is the first one as like the OU recruit, as he says. I don't know. I think this quote's kind of garbage. I think it's just kind of like a cop out. I don't think he ever really wanted to come to OU, and maybe he got caught up in the moment and decided to commit at a certain time and felt like going against the grain, and then had Arch in his ear and had his dad in his ear. Who knows? We don't know the story, and we will never know the story. But I think you're right, Mason. Don't commit at all. If you have any kind of doubts, just don't commit. I know you're 17, but I mean, this just isn't. It's not great taste, in my opinion.
I think he wanted to commit to OU because he thought OU would be really good, and I think our current record has a lot to do with him decommitting. And the way Texas
losing to Texas in that game,
losing to
49-0,
does not help. And I mean, if you look at this Texas team right now with Quinn Ewers, like they have a path forward that is probably easier to see than the Oklahoma team.
Sure, they weren't completely gutted last year. I mean,
but that's part of it.
But we beat Texas 8 of the last 10 years that he has probably watched. Yeah. I don't understand how this 1 year can matter unless there is a bunch of situations going on with Arch in his ear, like I said, NIL going on. Texas has a ton of money. There's a lot of things that are attractive about Texas. And during that game, they beat the hell out of us. And I get that, but they have not beat the hell out of us recently in the past 10 years. So,
I think that's kind of the thing that we're all sort of saying is if Oklahoma had been better this year, then we're keeping Colton Vasek. If the game is 49-0 the other direction, we're keeping Colton Vasek. But there are enough factors with him specifically leading him towards UT that it wasn't going to take a lot for that flip to take place. There's all the family ties, there's all the locality ties, and suddenly they got the best quarterback prospect too, who's in his ear. And Oklahoma is bad, especially against Texas. I mean, good luck to him. Good luck to him. Off the dome, do y'all know the last successful Texas defensive lineman?
No.
Because I know Perion Winfrey and Isaiah Thomas got drafted last year.
Okafor is the last one that comes to mind, and he was early 2010s, I think.
Colton is super duper talented. We were psyched to get him. Good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck to him. Looking forward to seeing what that is. Also, guys, real quick before we move on, I want to give a shout out. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I wanted to give our YouTube commenters a little more love. Got our YouTube commenter of the week. And by the way, if you want to be our YouTube commenter of the week, you have to comment down below. You also have to be subscribed. We can see if you're subscribed.
We can see.
That's the little caveat I'm gonna have in there. So
comment on random videos like that without hitting that subscribe button.
But our subscriber commenter of the week is Jay Mosh. Hope I'm Jay Mosh. Jay Mosh. His comment was, here's the thing. You cannot count on a Heisman contending quarterback every year, not to get where we want to with this program. Mason's point was spot on. Okay,
Is this what you picked?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Hold on. Listen.
We cannot just let Mason pick this.
Listen.
Garbage.
Listen, Linda, listen. Mason's point was spot on. Georgia won a national title with Stetson Bennett, is contending for another one. Get us just halfway there.
I agree with that. That's a great point about Stetson.
That was on our post-game pod, by the way. That was on the post-game pod. So shout out to J Mosh. You're our commenter of the week and our subscriber of the week. Thank you for subscribing and commenting to the show. All right, boys. Brent Venables had his.
Nope. We're going to have some commentary on this whole thing.
I think so too.
It is a great point. You can't count on the best quarterback in football 5 years in a row like we were able to count on, right? That's not normal. That's not what any other era of college football has been. We need a good quarterback. We need a quarterback that can raise the level of all of his peers. We need, if you're in the running for Jackson Arnold, you can get Jackson Arnold. you need Jackson Arnold, because that's what you can go get. You need to be hitting the ceiling of your quarterback production, but we cannot expect it to be no matter what number one offense every year. It's not going to be the case.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw my hat in this ring too. Again, it's a great point, Mason, and you were right.
Look,
I think the context that we were saying, because I think this was me and you talking about
it was.
But I think the context was around that, in order to be the Stinson Bennettts of the world, you have to have the best defense that college football's ever seen in Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. If our defense is not going to perform, like, Dylan has to be better. Yeah. And I think that was kind of the point.
And I want to say this now. I randomly picked the comment. I was scrolling. Sure, I know you're not going to believe it. I don't care. This is what happened. I was scrolling down, and that's the first one I saw that wasn't Okie Trades, because Okie Trades you've already won. Trades. Yeah, you've already won Okie Trades. So I had to pick someone different. He was the first one that rolled up. Mark, go ahead.
So I just pulled up the video to try and find my own. 2 minutes ago, as we are recording, 7:15 Central Time, Mason's father, Eddie Prince, commented, "What would you give to have Tanner Mordecai right now?"
Oh, Eddie.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he would have been better.
Not with this team.
I don't
know.
It's a whole different thing.
Bunch of what ifs.
Yeah.
He would have left with Lincoln too.
Yeah, probably. And then Lincoln would have benched him for somebody else. Okay. Brent Venables had his weekly press conference this week. Not a whole lot to add from it, but I thought a couple of things were interesting. Brent cited the youth and inexperience is part of the struggle defensively. There's a tweet from John Shin, I think it was. Yeah, John Shin. He said, he quoted Venables and said, "For us right now, we don't have a locker room full of guys that have been here a long time. What you want is a locker room full of guys that have been here and played for a long time." Emphasis on here and played. So kind of what we've already talked about. I mean, the roster was gutted. They're a relatively young and new team. You can cite that as part of the struggles. You can also, again, like we heard from Ted Roof on Monday, and Eddie Radosevich had a good exchange with him about just how guys are still being lined up wrong. And Ted, he's obviously not going to pile on his players, but you can tell that he knows that these guys just ain't it, man. I just get the vibe that this staff knows that these guys ain't that good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I agree with you. They're not throwing the players under the bus in any which way.
And they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
But there is like some more honesty now in these press conferences than there have been in the past. I mean, to your point, I thought what Brent Venables was talking about it was awesome, because it really highlighted how these guys aren't starters and how like Stutzman's still a rookie. And, we've got a 6-year guy on the team who's only played 2 years. But not only that, he almost called him like a little stupid when he was like, it's not hard when this is happening every single time and we can't get it. And he also just mentioned that there was no foundation and that they're barely scratching the playbook. Yeah. Which was just
terrifying.
That's disheartening.
Yeah. That's tough.
Because we're out here every week like, well, if we would just do something, put them in position to succeed. And
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything more on that.
No, I mean it's everything that we've been talking about. This is going to take a couple years. It's going to take a couple years to get his people in. It's going to take a couple of years to set up a foundation. We got everything uprooted last November, December, right? So it's been a year. It's been a year since Venables was hired, pretty close to. I think we're about a month away from that. And we need to give him some time. But the one thing I will say about some of these press conferences, I just feel like it's the same thing over and over and over again. Like they know, they're aware. They don't really have anything new to say. And I don't know what else I would expect them to say at this point. It's like, oh, well, we got to finish strong. It's going to matter how we finish, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know what else they're gonna say, but they're just gonna keep saying the same thing. I did laugh when Venables was like, "Are you guys gonna ask me any questions about West Virginia, or are we just gonna like talk about everything else that we've talked about every single week?"
It's funny because he's sort of been immune to the like. It's sort of like being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, right? There's extra stuff that comes with being the coach or the quarterback at Oklahoma. And he's sort of been immune to it this whole time, or it's bounced off of him. And with that like quip out of him, it was the first time I've seen him sort of acknowledge, like, man, this is weird.
Yeah.
The media, the expectations around this. I know, look, we all expected 9 or 10 wins, right?
Yeah.
Like we just did. And it hasn't happened. Everyone sort of gets it. I think if you're being reasonable about it, you sort of understand these things, but the questions still have to be asked. And that's the part that is unique to a place like this. Iowa State's not having that problem.
No.
They're on to the next week every week.
No. Mm-hmm. OU Insider posted an article linking Levy to the USF job. Who put that in there? I didn't see
I think
that.
it's just a rumors, clickbait. I don't think it's going to happen, but wanted to throw it in there as a topic.
That's fair. Yeah. Mark?
It's a pretty big topic to throw in there.
That's a big
I mean, I just think it is clickbait.
Okay.
I don't think he goes to UCF. Like, he could do bigger and better in a year, and so don't go there now.
Was this information in a tweet?
No.
Was it behind a paywall, Pat?
I'm saying it was clickbait.
We're doing real time follow the source on the pod.
Yeah, it was an article.
It's not even
Insider.
That. Okay, but you could go see it.
Yeah.
And you don't pay a subscription fee to them?
No.
Okay, good. See, that was my concern. We can't just be dropping nuggets behind paywalls. No. That was my worry there, Pat, was you were like dropping inside info. Yeah. He won't take that. Why would you take that? USF?
No.
USF, dog, that's where Charlie Strong career goes to die. Okay. Yeah. That's not where Jeff Levy goes.
No. Absolutely not.
I think if Levy was still at Ole Miss and succeeding this year, Auburn would have picked him up.
Okay. Good to know.
Maybe.
Good to know.
You think that.
Just so you guys know my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Hey,
on this, what would have happened?
I don't have anything to add on it because I don't think Jeff Levy's going to USF, and I don't have anything to add. So it's whatever. Okay, let's move on to the OU West Virginia game. Okay.
I also don't think Jeff Levy gets any job this offseason.
No.
Well, why would you?
No. And not because he's not good enough to get another job. I just don't think he would. I think
the
Jeff
offense didn't show enough. Hasn't shown enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. OU West Virginia. This is a get right game if I've ever freaking seen it. Okay. You're going into Morgantown. It's a hostile environment. West Virginia is at the bottom of the Big 12. They're the 7th ranked defense in the conference. They're the 9th ranked offense in the conference. You got to win this game. You cannot lose this game. You literally can't. It's a must win and it can't lose at the same time.
Yeah, so, this is absolutely a must win game. I mean, considering that we have Bedlam the weekend after and then at Tech, which I really don't feel good about. If we lose this game, we might lose out the rest of this year and not make a freaking bowl game, which would be which we made fun of Texas for just last year, right?
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Whenever it was.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, it comes at you real fast. So yeah, I mean, you have to win this game. Thank God it's at 11 a.m. because if it was a night game in Morgantown, I would really not feel good about it. But it's 11 a.m. game. We have to win it. We have to.
Mark, Pat?
Bro, we're not good. Like, we're good. We're better than West Virginia, but this whole we have to go in and win this one. So does West Virginia.
Yeah, but West Virginia is in this position almost every single year, whereas we are not.
Exactly. They're seasoned for it.
Oh, God.
We're seasoned for dropping the one game against the West Virginia.
Has never beaten Oklahoma in Big 12 play. They've never done it. Whether it's Bob, whether it's Lincoln, they haven't done it. So I'm very curious to see what pans out this week. Look, diving into a little bit of the game. JT Daniels, 13 touchdowns, 8 picks. Dude turns the ball over. I think this is the game. You got to be a little aggressive in your secondary and dialing up some blitzes. And I know they've probably dialed up blitzes in the past, but like you can get to this guy. He's not uber mobile. He obviously can't read the defense very well if he's throwing 8 picks. Doesn't know what he's doing. This is a big game for the defense, and I think this has the opportunity to maybe go back to that Iowa State game. A little bit what we saw against Iowa State, how they started to look like they were kind of figuring some things out. Maybe that's what happens this week. I'm not sure.
Remember feeling good?
No.
About the trajectory?
No,
wow.
I don't. Coming off a bye, great win off Iowa State. I mean, I thought the momentum was going to continue against Baylor, obviously. I mean, it did in some capacities, but definitely didn't overall. That's what I want to see us get back to as well. Pressure on JT Daniels is going to be the biggest thing, like Mason said.
And I don't know who gets you that pressure because the defensive line is non-existent. Like I've said,
Bowman.
You need him in coverage, man.
You need him actually in every single position. Put him in every single one.
I know.
If you could pick one player on OU's defense to play all 11 positions, it's Billy Bowman with a bullet, right?
Easy.
Yeah,
probably.
Easy.
Maybe Deshaun White.
Yeah, I was going to say Deshaun.
He's a little bigger.
Yeah, Sean's a little bigger, but I'd much rather have Billy playing every position. I'd feel a lot better about it.
Feisty, man.
I know.
I just I'm just like I'm not really hopeful, guys. I don't have a lot of like hope in me about like any of these games coming up.
I think we're going to
a little deflated.
I think we're going to win big here. I think our offense is going to get going. We're going to win big.
I like the vibe, Pat. That's the kind of vibe I need right now.
Pat has a much better vibe than I do.
He
always does.
He's also right. We lost by 3 to a team we handed the ball to 3 times last week. Right. For all the sorrow that we have, we just lost the homie Colton Vasek. He went home. It's time to rise from the ashes. I'm with Patrick on this. When you look, all the problems remain. They do, but that's next year's problem. For now, let's win some football games. Eric Gray's still Eric Gray. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Billy is still Billy. Deshaun's going to play hard. Jaron Kanak is going to get more and more playing time. Our Mason Thomas has looked good. Let's see these guys, eat a little bit. I win by 30 points. That'd be sick.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see us scoring 40-plus points on this team. Maybe
I do as well.
Easily 400-plus yards.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the offense.
I feel like a 45-27 win is what I feel. Because I like Patrick said, I think the offense is going to have a really good game against this West Virginia defense, who has not performed well. They're allowing 414 yards a game. Granted, OU's giving up 435, but what are you going to do about that? So, in terms of their defense, I'm trying to find. Gosh, all right, never mind. I can't find it. The Big 12's website is a mess. It's whatever, but I don't think West Virginia.
Big 12.
So, like, you think back to the losses besides the Texas game. Adrian Martinez posed a problem. And then Baylor posed a problem just with how physically dominant they were to be able to run the ball. I don't think West Virginia presents you with a problem like that. Like a certain, like, what is West Virginia's identity? I don't think they have one.
It's just Morgantown. Like, that's the idea.
Yeah.
That they have.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, it is.
Well, also, we're not as plugged into West Virginia football as we are our own team.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. And certainly not this year as much as I am even a team like Baylor or Texas or Oklahoma State, because they're West Virginia. They're not good, guys.
We're not good either.
I disagree. So I think if we're all playing to our full potential, we're a really great team. Even if it's like 75% there, I think we're good.
Okay.
I
know that I hit this point last week or this past episode, but we haven't played 100% yet.
Right. That's the weird thing is we haven't peaked at all.
Right. Okay.
We're not going to this year.
You say that like the peak is coming, and I say it thinking the peak was Iowa State, possibly. Right. We have good enough players. We can win out. Go to a much better bowl game than we're slated to now. The Alamo Bowl, maybe? I don't know. Something like that.
I would guess that.
Something like that. And win that game. Everything could turn around, but we could also go to Morgantown, our first away game in the Eastern time zone, and blow it. Isn't it the Eastern time zone?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh God! Thank God I was right.
Yeah. You think Morgantown? Think just south of Pittsburgh, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like it's out there.
Wild regional decision.
Yeah.
Conference realignment's ruining conference.
Yeah, it's weird. West Virginia allows 276 yards through the air on defense, by the way. That's 8th best in the conference. This has to be a Dylan Gabriel game where he takes over. He's getting I need another 350 out of Dylan Gabriel this week. You got to throw for 350, maybe 4 tutties. And then
no picks.
And then give Eric Gray the ball a solid amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
How about target Marvin Mims more than 5 times? That'd be sick. That'd be nice.
So that's what I want to see on the offensive side of the ball. Look, Eric Gray is going to be good, right? Eric Gray is just good. Javante Barnes, if he can play, he gets all of Marcus's snaps. That's just what needs to happen. It's over. And I want to see a lot of planned throws to Marvin Mims and to Jaleel Farouk. And that's really, I think, all it takes to build a competent offense is get the ball to your best players.
I know.
Just say, hey, sometimes go beat your guy. And if he beats his guy, he's open.
But we've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah.
And they still aren't doing it. Like
I'm sorry to be a negative. On a 4th and 1.
I'm being negative Nancy tonight, guys. So you might have to pull me out of this funk. But it's like I feel like we know what the problems are. Like at this point, they're pretty glaring. They have been for the past couple weeks.
Sure, but we're running a podcast.
I was just going to comment on the Marvin Mims thing, Mark. Every time he throws it to Marvin Mims, or not every time, but half the time, it's a deep ball, and it scares the crap out of me because it's either overthrown or potentially intercepted. So, like, honestly, if the routes are kind of more slot routes to Marvin, sure, but
and no, that's not a bad point. It's a good point because we have guys that can run that deep route, right? Trevon West even is fast. He got some run last week. That was crazy. Yeah. Good for him. Shout out Trevon. Jaleel Farouk can run deep and then have Marvin trail in underneath. Whatever you need to do, right? We just haven't done it.
The thing that comes to my mind, and this is going to sound like a bad example because these aren't the same caliber of players or offensive system or anything like that. But the way that the Dolphins utilize Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, obviously they're 2 best players. Yeah. They feed them the ball like each 12 times a game. And they're doing it by giving them the ball in space over the middle. I feel like Marvin Mims never catches the ball over the middle. Right. They never send him over the middle. And Jaleel Farouk as well. I feel like the guys who go across the middle are Drake Stoops and that's it. Braden Willis.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like that's 90% of the field.
Right.
Just get Marvin and Jaleel in space and let's see what happens.
And the defense isn't going to hit you. They cannot hit you anymore.
No.
They cannot knock you off your route the way that the old timers used to play. It's soft.
Yep.
So send your fastest guy over the middle. They can't cover it the same way our guys can't cover it. When Xavier Worthy goes across the middle and beat him.
Just beat him.
Just beat him. The one thing I'm looking for is I want to have West Virginia's run offense is not anything like Baylor's, but I would like to see a much better run defensive game. I need to see us be able to show a little bit of light when it comes to stopping the run, because that I think has been our largest problem the last, in our losses at least, is allowing teams to open up the run and then just taking over from there. We have to be able to shut that down. And like I said, West Virginia not great on the run offensive game, so we should be able to do it, but I want to see it.
The thing that I'm most looking forward to and the thing that I need to see is pressure. And I feel like I've said it 5 times this season. But at some point, you're going to have to get some kind of pressure because guess what? You're playing Texas Tech next week and they throw the ball all over the field. If you don't get any pressure on them, you will die.
Oklahoma State next week.
Sorry.
And
sorry. And 3 weeks. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong on the schedule. Oklahoma State. We'll get to that eventually. But later on, you're going to play teams that can kill you if you do not get pressure on them. And you haven't gotten pressure all year. I understand that. So maybe this is the week you dial something up. Maybe you send Danny Stutzman on a bull rush blitz and he goes in the wrong hole, but he's still in the backfield and he flushes the guy out. Maybe that's what he does. Maybe Ethan Downs
built for.
Yeah, maybe Ethan Downs decides he can play football and gets any sort of pressure. That'd be sick.
That'd be nice.
Our Twitter handles are on this episode, by the way. So go ahead and give me a tweet if you think I'm being mean to Ethan Downs, who has a total of probably 10 tackles all season. Tell me if I'm being mean.
Jinkies.
Sorry, I don't care.
Going after everybody, Mace. The last couple weeks.
I'm sick of it, dude. I'm sick of no pressure. They don't win any battles. They are all blocked all of the time. They do not know how to get off blocks. And I've never seen a defensive line like it. And I understand what else are you going to do? Those are your best players. And it's terrifying, but it's true. So if they're your best players, then they better do something. Because they don't do anything right now. None of them do. Jalen Redmond, sometimes. Jalen Redmond's on my good list, though, because he's in the wrong position. So it's fine.
We started the season super high on Reggie Grimes. He's come down to earth in the way that people who have been on space come down to earth. And in his place, I mean, who has stepped up? We haven't really had a defensive lineman really make those plays. Joe Nalaulu has played very well. Mm-hmm. I think that he is someone who does deserve some plaudits here. I think Jeffrey Johnson has done well when he plays. I don't even see him on the field that much. Maybe I am not paying attention to the defensive line enough. So please don't come after me. I don't want to get added for my bad takes.
Well, I mean, it's fine. You probably can't see the defensive line play because by the time you acknowledge them, they're 20 yards downfield running the ball. And the defensive line is like non-existent. So they're out of play already.
Looking at the ball carrier and dang, he's 6 yards there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Danny. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's great. It's fun.
But yeah, I think we need to help those guys out more than they are. Letting them just get blocked, letting them just lose their blocks against every pass. Who are you helping? We need to send pressure.
And maybe that's literally what we're just going to have to do is send 6 guys every time. One more than they can block.
Let's draw some
like every time.
Try something.
And tell Woody and Jaden and Key and all those guys back there, like, you're on your own. Figure it out. And that's just what we got to live and die with. Honestly, at this point, we're talking it out, and it sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I love it.
Let's do it. Every play.
I feel like we have to. I mean,
make JT Daniels throw the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, make him throw it.
Make him throw it with someone in his face. Let us know down below in the comments. Let us know down below in the comments if you're vibing with us on this. Also, vibe check in the comments how we're feeling right now. Because I feel like we're down on the We need Matt right now. I feel like we're down on the
Matt. We do need Matt.
Yeah.
So, like, speaking of like how we're feeling, right? I think this game is really important for us to win from a mental standpoint.
For sure.
100%.
Like for not just us, but like for these players. If we lose this game, morale is gonna just like crush into like a trash can. And then
if we lose this game, Mason's gonna kill them all, man.
Dude, he's gonna destroy everybody.
Oh my gosh, man.
So like again, we really need to win this game, or else the last 2 games of the season, I think this is a big setup game for us.
But I don't know who said it earlier in the season. I generally hate when people say things so open-ended as this, but it was like, we can win all these games, we can lose all these games.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
that was
man, I hate that. But yeah, we could go 3-0, we could go 0-3.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts this week. This is the easiest one. You have to win it.
Yeah.
Have to win it.
All right, let's do some score predictions real quick.
Jesus.
I know. By the way, if you're a responsible gambler, -8, Oklahoma -8 is what I have according to ESPN. I think they get their picks from or their spreads from somewhere. I don't know.
It's at -8. Generally, as a consensus, opened at 5.5.
Wow.
Okay, so I got OU to cover. I got them 45-31. I think that's a safe bet. I think OU scores more than 30, and I think West Virginia scores more than 40, and I think West Virginia scores more than 30. 45-31. Oklahoma win. That's what I'm going with.
Mine's close to yours, Mason. 45-35.
Okay.
Same reasons.
I had 38-17 written down, but then I said we're going to score over 40 points. So I've changed it to 41-17. Give me some defense. Let's get it right this week.
Way to hold yourself accountable.
Yep.
Proud of you.
Good stuff, Pat. 48-17. Offense looks good.
Ooh.
One more touchdown than me. All right.
Okay.
Like
40. Let us know down below in the comments what your prediction score for the game is. We read all these comments. I'm not having a good speaking night, by the way.
Imagine listening to us this whole time and thinking, like, finally, these guys have gotten realistic. Seen
finally they're broken
team and they figured it out. And then we all come on and we're like, yeah, we went by 20 at least. At least.
What's the big deal? Why is everybody freaking out?
We have to win this game. Sooners by 31.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But also, if you are going to comment, be nice in the comments. There's some mean comments out there.
Yeah, let's be nice in the comments for sure. Yeah, that's all. Just be nice.
Not towards us. I'm fine with that. It's the other.
I can handle it. All right, let's go. Let's pick some college football picks this week. Actually, before we do the picks, before we get to our pick 'em page, quick update. I'm going to put it up now. College football playoff poll was released on Tuesday night. I'm going to throw it up now, Editor Mason. Here's what it looks like. And number 1, no surprise really, it's Georgia. And then I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU making their debut at number 4, Tennessee 5, Oregon 6. You're looking at the rankings in front of you right now. Any surprise for you guys? Happy for TCU being in there at 4. That I think they deserve it. Ohio State and Michigan are going to take care of each other. So, I mean, it's just spot filler at that point. And Georgia is a clear and obvious number 1, as they should be. So that's where I'm at.
Go ahead, Mark.
1's perfectly right. 2 and 3 will take care of each other. TCU is in the Oklahoma spot. That's the interesting thing to me, except that Oklahoma has always lost a game by now. So timing is going to work against them in a way that we didn't have to deal with during our years of success. If they drop a game now, they're behind Tennessee, Oregon, possibly LSU, possibly USC. Yeah. Another thing, USC is in an Oklahoma position right now. Terrible conference. They're going to win it. Most likely, I guess. They haven't played anyone, but they're not going to play anyone except for Oregon.
Well, they'll play
which is interesting because the Pac-12 this year is like the Big 12. The 2 best teams are going to play each other. No division. So that'll be interesting.
Don't they have UCLA? Don't they have 3 teams in the top 10 according to the playoff?
UCLA is 12.
12.
But,
okay, well they're right there.
Right, 6 and 8. Anyway, USC has Caleb Williams, so they're going to win the Pac-12. That's what I think probably happens. And we have to look at them as a real playoff contender after that.
Okay, so we had some technical difficulties. We're back, though. So I think something interesting with TCU. TCU has Texas this weekend in Austin, at Baylor the next weekend, and then home against Iowa State to end the season. That's a tough 3-game stretch for them to end, especially to Mark's point, being undefeated at this point of the year, and one game could kill you, especially in the Big 12. That's a tough stretch to end. I mean, they could win all 3 of those for sure, but I don't know, man. It's
and then
tough.
they have to win the national championship after that as well. Because if they don't, then they're not going in either.
Yeah.
You mean the Big 12?
Big 12.
Big 12. Yeah,
Big
sorry,
12.
Big 12 championship. My bad.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Have y'all seen the spread on that game?
Texas TCU, no.
Texas by 7.
I'm not shocked. I'm not.
Yeah, I would agree.
I was sure they'd be favored.
Yeah,
7's hefty.
7's a lot.
7's a lot.
I want to touch on one thing before we dive into the games.
Me too.
I am, and this, Pat, this is mostly for you. I am so fascinated to see where Tennessee ends up in this whole thing, because, you know, essentially right now they're most likely not going to the SEC championship because Georgia will win the East. So they will not be even in the championship at all, playing for it. I'm curious to see what they do versus a SEC West team that potentially can go into the championship, whether that be Alabama or LSU. And maybe play well against Georgia or beat Georgia even then. Like, what do you do with Tennessee? Because there is a likelihood that they're not going to lose another game, because Pat, you probably know this. Who else do they have on their schedule to be worried about? But they're not really, they don't have that like championship coming up that they can tack on to their resume. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Alabama do this before where they didn't win the Big 12, or they didn't win the SEC and they still went, right? But I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm pretty sure they were in the SEC championship game and lost and then got in, right? Like, how is Tennessee, what are they going to do with them? They have them at 5, so they obviously have them at that spot. But what do you do with a Pac-12 champion? What do you do with a Big 12 champion? What do you do with the Big 10 and the SEC? Is there going to be another SEC team that they throw in there? I'm very interested.
I'll tell you what they're
going
to do. I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to put Tennessee in the top 4 because that's what they deserve. They've had a very difficult strength of schedule. Ohio State and Michigan have to play one another. Tennessee goes above a 1-loss Ohio State or Michigan. TCU is not going to win out. Tennessee goes above a 1-loss TCU, even if they win the Big 12 championship. Same with USC, in my opinion. You cannot count out Tennessee the way they've played this year. Number 1 best offense in the country.
You didn't win your division.
Florida. I mean, they lost to the number 1 team in the country, though. If you're going to put in Oregon, no. Or
if you want to go by the letter of the College Football Playoff Committee law, it's the best 4 teams.
Yeah.
And I agree with Pat that Tennessee would be one of those best 4 teams. It's a big problem to me personally that you're not even in your conference championship game. I think that's a hard pill to swallow, but on paper and even to the eye test, 100% they're one of the 4 best teams in the country. Yeah, Mark.
Well, I'm just looking at it, and they've set themselves up to, I mean, if Georgia wins out, Georgia's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Easy peasy. Whoever wins the Big 10 is in. Easy peasy. TCU, if they win out, is in. That's easy peasy. If they don't, it gets a little complicated, but let's just say they're in, right? Do you take 1-loss Oregon or 1-loss USC who have won their conference, or Tennessee?
Right.
You take the Pac-12.
Yeah, I think you do.
No, you don't. You definitely don't take Oregon because of the way they played against Georgia.
Pat,
I don't know, man.
Tennessee
It actually is a different
but it wasn't.
team.
They scored
that
more than
played.
3 points.
Sure, but like,
Okay, I get it.
if
It
they
was the
played
beginning of the
today, it'd be
season.
the
I
same
understand.
game. You know,
No, but
they
I get
factor
where you're
that.
coming from. I'm so against taking a Pac-12 team, and I'm obviously a bit biased. So
another wrench in this, though. TCU only loses 1 game, still goes to the championship, wins the championship.
No,
you have a 1-loss Big 12.
Too recent.
Out.
They're out.
I think they're out.
Fascinating.
I do. I think to Mark's point, like you're this late in the game and you're undefeated and you're in now, but you're not in like 2. You're in at 4. And I think 1 loss knocks you back especially for a team like TCU, I think the committee has no problem putting them outside the top 10 with a loss.
Well,
I think they would.
Did it.
Yeah, they would.
When did they do it? They did it in 2014 when they won by 60 points and dropped them out of the top 4.
Yeah.
So they already have like a history of doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you guys are right. I think with TCU especially, but it's like a big math problem to me, and I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. All right.
So
let's
TCU,
go ahead, Mark.
I'm sorry. So do we remember what they were last week? Because they're obviously the last
6.
I don't remember.
They're at the bottom of the undefeated teams.
They were
right?
7 before Bama, I think.
7 before Bama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're
okay. Yeah.
receiving less respect than the other undefeated teams. They have to win out. They have to win out.
They have to win out.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
College football pick'em page. We have a undisputed leader. It's Frat Loops. Frat Loops is back on top.
He's
58 and 41 in the 99.4 percentile. Shout out to Frat Loops. He is the leader in our college football pick'em page. Be sure to make your picks this week if you're part of that page. All right, boys, let's start and pick some games. Alabama against Ole Miss, needing to win in the worst kind of way. Lane Kiffin welcomes his old coach, or head coach, I should say. Yeah, his boss to Oxford. Couldn't remember where they played. Alabama doesn't look good on the road, guys. They struggle in true road games. And I'm trying to find the spread in front of me.
I got 12 right here. I'm not sure.
I got
if we have
on our pick'em page 11.5. Alabama's favored. I think that's a lot of points, especially for an Alabama team who doesn't perform well on the road. Give me Ole Miss plus 11.5. Alabama to win, Ole Miss to cover.
I agree with you, Mason. Second that.
Third that.
Wow.
Y'all are wrong.
Y'all are wrong. Always play the team. Play the number, not the team.
One of Nick Saban's proteges has beaten him.
Yeah, Kirby.
His name is not Lane Kiffin.
That guy sucks.
Correct.
So
He's really
I'm gonna take Nick Saban, and I feel all right about it.
Are you gonna so Bama to cover is what you're saying?
To cover. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Mark has them to cover. Our other game, TCU against Texas. Number 4 TCU. We just said they got to win out to stay in. Plus 7.5 underdogs on our pick'em page. Mark.
Well, let's just move to 7. Man, the half point is disrespectful. Opening at 7.5 against number 4 is disrespectful, man.
So yeah, I'm taking TCU because I think they win the game outright. I think they're the better team than Texas. This is probably going to come back to bite me. I don't really care. Oklahoma State's not good. They're not. And they got taken to the wire by OSU. OSU statistically is ranked at the bottom of the conference in both offense and defense. They're a bad team. And Texas lost to them. Give me TCU to win. And by that account, they cover. So, TCU.
I've got Texas to cover.
You're gross.
No, I don't believe in this TCU team. They've played well, but I mean the time is taken for them to drop one bad. I'm interested
you don't
to see
believe
though.
in this team?
No.
You don't? Man,
No.
every game I watch them, I believe more.
I just can't do it. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Can't do it.
I think also will be interesting to see if TCU rushes the field for a third time this season if they beat Texas.
They better not.
It's at Texas.
Oh, well,
So that won't be happening.
Oh, man.
even
Texas
makes me feel
might
better
rush
about
the
the
field.
Yeah, even makes me feel better about the cover. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas
go ahead,
covers.
Texas covers. Wow.
I'm
okay.
pretty, yeah. That's
All right.
where I'm at with this football season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Texas covers too. I've watched TCU and I think their time is up, and they've been in a lot of close games. Games. And I think Austin can be a volatile place to play, especially with the Texas team that is feeling a bit more confident and has, a pretty good quarterback that sometimes can play horribly like they did against OSU. Like, I think that if Quinn Ewers would have played any decent at all, they would have won that OSU game. So, yeah, give me Texas.
Okay.
Go gross. In the shower.
I feel disgusting.
Okay. A Pac-12 game that we don't have on our list, but it's on our picking page. I want to talk about it. Oregon, 12.5-point favorite against number 25, Washington. Oregon at home. Oregon's got to win out to be any sort of relevant. So I think Oregon wins this game, and I think they cover 12.5.
I'd agree.
I believe in Oregon, man. And I don't know if I believe in Oregon just because I want them to beat USC, or if I believe in Oregon because they're a good team. And either way, I don't really care. But I believe in Oregon.
I believe in Oregon, and I believe in UCLA because I want them to beat USC. That's why I believe in them.
That's fair.
Oregon's pretty good at home, and I haven't seen anything crazy special out of Washington this year. I haven't been watching them super closely, but I think they're the better team, and they're going to cover.
Between Bo Nix and Michael P. Nix, I'm going to take Bo. I think Oregon covers. I think when you have a good Oregon team, they run away with these kind of games. It's 21 points. It's 28 points. It's something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. I'm looking at 13.5 on my personal not real page, and I'm looking at it,
Yeah. Okay, last one. Pat, did you pick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got Oregon to cover as well.
Okay, cool. Last one. Clemson, 7.5-point favorite, hosting the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville, 7.5-point underdog. Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's
I thought you were talking like baseball there for a second.
Oh, no.
No, but you did.
Like, wait.
It is Louisville. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, you didn't get that right.
So I have Louisville to cover because Clemson Tigers are fraudulent. I think Clemson wins, but I've said they're frauds all year. They lost last week. I think they're going to have another scare this week, and I think Louisville covers.
I think this is a get-right game for Clemson, and Dabo gets that team ready to go, and they take down the Louisville Hot Browns by more than 7.5.
Shout out Hot Brown.
Mason, did you say this is at Louisville?
Yes. No, it's at Clemson.
It's in Clemson.
Give me Clemson.
Okay.
Give me Clemson.
All right. Let us know in the comments if you're on our pick 'em page, where you stand in the pick 'em page, and make some picks along with us. Moving on. We aren't circling the wagons this week.
We're not circling the wagons. There's no game.
Okay.
Whoa. No, hold on.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room?
I don't know what the elephant in the room is.
That OU basketball lost to Sam Houston State last night.
The season opener. Real tough, guys.
That's not good.
Yeah, they suck.
It's been a bad week.
I was gonna talk about how the Falcons should probably move to Desmond Ridder. I think it's time.
Okay.
I think Mariota just hasn't shown us enough.
Okay.
When there's guys blitzing, he doesn't see them. He throws picks. He throws bad balls. Also, Kyle Pitts, you got to try a little harder, champ. You're not just going to be tall and fast enough to do everything. You got to actually work for it. It's a little weird to see.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for filling in.
That was
circling the Falcons.
What are you going to call it? Calling the birds.
I like it.
Bird calling or something.
Circling the Falcons.
All right. Let's move on to our PGP MVPs of the week. Patrick, we'll start with you, man. What do you got?
I've got the Houston Astros, baby. My Houston Astros. Growing up, born, raised in Houston. You can hate them, but you've got to respect them. It is the most difficult team to be on to go to away stadiums. They get booed every single stadium more than any other team in the country. Every single time Jose Altuve steps up to the plate, the entire stadium is booing him. They had the best record in the MLB. Maybe the Dodgers had a better one, but I don't think so. Anyways,
at least in the American League.
In
the American League.
Right. American League, definitely. And then obviously they absolutely crushed it during the entire World Series. A no-hitter against the Phillies. In Game 5, combined. couldn't be more proud of my Houston Astros. They're definitely my MVP.
Love it, man. How many pieces of Houston Astros gear do you own?
So funny you ask this.
Okay.
I have one t-shirt, couldn't find it during the game, really upset me, but that's okay. I also have a bottle of champagne that Corbell made, limited edition, that says 2017 Astros World Series champions. And I was like, what better time to pop this than right now?
For sure.
And I didn't, because I would like to get another one limited edition and then have two. I think that would be cool. Continue to collect them.
What a build-up, and then just like a boom.
Is this a stupid question? Does champagne go bad?
No, I don't think so.
I think it can, because it's bubbly.
Right?
Like wine.
I mean, if you
really
open it goes bad.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
I don't think it will go bad. But
I don't know.
Well,
I also
could,
think you should collect that and not just pop it.
Right. I've literally had to transfer it to like 4 different places now. So
wow.
Okay. With, yeah.
All right.
Patrick moves a ton.
Yeah, Patrick does move a ton. That moves a ton. All right. My MVP of the week is Justin Fields. Justin Fields was arguably the best player in the NFL on Sunday. He looked fantastic. 17 of 28 through the air, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. But on the ground, 15 carries, $178, and a touchdown. 11.9 yards a carry. He set the NFL regular season record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in the history of the league. Colin Kaepernick had more in a playoff game against the Packers. But Justin Fields looked absolutely fantastic. And I couldn't be happier for the Bears. My uncle's a big Bears fan, and Pat too.
Yeah.
He's Justin Fields looks every bit the part of that guy for Chicago. And once that dude gets some help, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Justin Fields does, because he's exciting to watch, man. He's the real deal. So Justin Fields, you're my MVP of the week.
I can go next.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my MVP to the Minnesota Vikings. 7-1, second place, and then NFC, only following the Eagles, who are the only team that beat us in Philly. So looking pretty good right now. I think we're about 4.5 games ahead in the North. Because the Packers have had a nosedive, and the Bears can't figure out how to help Justin Fields, and then who knows what the Lions are doing. I don't know.
Beating the Packers.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Packers. It's crazy. The Packers quarterback looks like he took ayahuasca this offseason instead of practicing.
Yeah, who would have known?
Who would have known? Kevin O'Connell's, I think the 7-1 start to his first year as head coach is I think the best start of any new Packers coach since at least like the 50s or the 60s when they came into being. So, yeah, Minnesota Vikings looking great right now. I know how this ends though, and it ends in heartbreak, but I'm just riding the high right now.
Enjoy the ride, man. Yeah. I think they look good. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
They're figuring out a way to win. They don't look great while they're doing it all the time, but they're figuring out a way to win. And good teams figure out ways to win.
Dude, in the NFL, just the old Al Davis thing, just win. Just win, baby. That's all you got to do. Mark, what you got?
Yeah, my MVP is going to be my dad this week. He went with me to the game and did a ton of driving. I offered to drive more than he actually let me drive. That's an OG dad move.
Yeah.
And just had a really good weekend with him. So shout out my dad, MVP.
You're the man, Rich. We love you, man. Also, shout out Connor Borland, Eloise Borland, born
new dad,
and new dad Connor Borland. Eloise is home. We love you, buddy. We're happy for you. And shout out to Bethany Borland for braving that long pregnancy.
He made a point of making sure the Oklahoma Breakdown gave him a shout out.
Right.
Yep.
Did not have any such interaction with me.
Nope.
Don't worry, Connor.
We did it anyway.
Yeah.
We noticed.
We know.
Hey, Connor, don't worry. I'm just a good friend and remembered.
Yeah. You didn't have to pay us for this.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Be sure to contribute to strengthening Oklahoma. All right. Sorry, that was a cheap shot. All right. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Program Guys podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z. However you get your podcast, that's where you can find us. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Be sure to follow us on our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Anything else I'm missing, guys? Our Twitter handles are on this episode. If you feel so inclined to follow us on Twitter and listen to me rant about Tua, go ahead and do so. But other than that, I think that's going to do it. Let's have a great week. We'll see you on Sunday for the Sunday or Saturday for the post-game pod. Haven't really decided yet. We'll figure it out, but you'll have one this weekend. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.